Hey guys, welcome back. So this video is going to be super short. I don't really have much to say on what we just watched, but I did want to film a reaction to each part. I thought about watching all 4 parts, but I have no idea how long it's going to be in between each video. So I figured I would just do a short little reaction to each of the 4 videos, or however many parts there are. I forget how many there are. But I figured I'd just sit down and do a reaction to each of the videos as they came out, just so we have a little time to chit chat about things and discuss topics that were discussed in the videos, things like that. So let's go ahead and just get into it. So I have to admit, it was kind of bittersweet to see the clips of back then Jaclyn, especially given what's going on now. I think I've made it very obvious here in my channel that I was a huge fan of Jaclyn for such a long time. She was one of the first bigger influencers that I fell in love with her content and how good it was. You could tell that she was driven because of the love of makeup artistry, and not so much the money, because back then she wasn't pulling in the hundreds she's pulling in now, you know what I mean? It's just so obvious that she's changed so much from who she was back then, at least in this industry, compared to who she is now. I'm not talking about her life changes, because we all know everyone goes through changes in life. Obviously, we go through different experiences, whether it be divorce, breakups, getting into a relationship, having a baby. Like, those changes are normal. Those are changes that we should expect. But when it comes to the things that she was listing off in the beginning of the video, how she was never gonna sell out, she was never gonna make it about money, she was never gonna put money above her subscribers, those are the changes that have become so painfully obvious in the last few years especially. And everything that she said she wasn't going to do, in one way or another, she has done. Anyways, we move past all that and get into the different collaborations with different brands that she had, the different products that she worked with them on, and things like that. And to this day, the one collaboration that I'm still on the fence about, as far as who's to blame realistically, is Makeup Geek, because I watched the very first video in which the emails were first released a few weeks ago. Even in the video I made in reaction to that initial video about the emails, which I'll put down below if you have not watched it yet, I say the same thing I'm gonna say right here, right now. And a lot of people were like, okay, well, you know, they were best friends, or they were friends at one point, and you know, you wanna trust your friends and trust they're not gonna fuck you over when things like this. But the one thing that I was taught in cosmetology school, and not even in cosmetology school, but in life, is that when it comes to business, there should be no friendships getting in the way of anything. I'm sorry. Of course, we want to believe that our best friends or our close friends would never fuck us over. And you know what? When it comes to business, maybe you have good friends who would never do that to you, and they make sure that they do everything by the book, and they understand that when it comes to business, it's strictly business, and that's it. No friendships get in the way of anything. And in this case, I really believe, and you know what, I'm not gonna sit here and just solely blame Marlena. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying, I feel like if I were in her place back then, I would have had the sense to be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to put anything into production as far as the single shadows for the collaboration or whatever the case may be. I'm not putting any time or money into this project until I have a signed contract by Jaclyn and all relevant parties in front of me on file, ready to go. I don't know. I feel like Marlena should have been so much smarter with that situation. And you know what really put it into perspective of how much was wasted with that collaboration that never happened? When they showed the pictures of the boxes of all the eyeshadows for that collaboration just piled one on top of the other. And there were tons of these things. And there was probably thousands upon thousands of units of eyeshadow in all those boxes. I'm not even a business owner, but seeing those pictures of all those boxes filled with all those eyeshadows that were at that point just garbage, just sitting there, I just saw it as a pile of cash that was wasted. And that brings up the question of, why were these shadows not put into other collaborations? It was shown that 2 of the eyeshadows were picked up by Manny MUA and released in one of his palettes in collaboration with Makeup Geek. But for the rest of the shadows, they could have just sold them discount, renamed them, and sold them. You know what I mean? But from my understanding, that didn't happen. Now, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not sitting here trying to put the blame solely on Marlena. That's not at all what my intentions are. I'm just saying that she should have absolutely covered her ass a little bit better, and I would have absolutely made sure to have that signed contract by all parties involved, whether it be Jaclyn's mother, who I know is her manager, her sister, whatever the case may be. She should have had that contract signed before she put any time or money into that project. At least if she had the signed contract and they went through with the entire collaboration and everything, but at the last minute Jaclyn decided to go ahead and back out the last minute, at least Marlena would have had that contract, that legally binding contract to save her ass in court if it came to that, you know what I mean? So I just feel like hopefully she learned from that, and hopefully she moves forward with her business in a better way, and she understands that you cannot just trust people like that, even if they call themselves your friend. I mean, come on. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with how well the video was made. Congrats to both T-Spill and Here for the Tea. Despite all of the drama, the unnecessary ass drama that happened on Twitter with everyone being so pissed off and angry that it didn't get released yesterday. Like I said in my last video, shit happens, and when it comes to editing videos, if you've never done it before, you have no idea how stressful and how mind-numbing it can be to have to sit there and watch the same clips over and over again and have to watch the same video over and over again to make sure that everything is perfect and cohesive and it makes sense. It's a lot of work. So when I saw people complaining and bitching and just being so angry and canceling people for no, it was a mess and a half. But I honestly feel like the video was very well made. I think the wait was definitely worth it. And I'm very anxious to see what kind of reaction we see from Jaclyn specifically. Moreover, I'm also anxious to see how the brand owners themselves react, and if we're gonna see different Twitter exchanges between brands, if we're gonna see some more exchanges between Here for the Tea and Jaclyn. There's so much that I feel is gonna come out of all this, and I don't think it's gonna stop with the videos themselves. Now, a lot of what was in tonight's video was all stuff that I've known for a while. I mean, if you've been a fan of either Jaclyn or the beauty community in general, or even drama channels for a long time, you know that the #1 consistency that you can count on with Jaclyn collaborations, no matter what brand she's collabing with, is that there's always going to be a problem. That is the #1 consistency you can count on across all collabs, across all brands, is there's always going to be a problem with all of them. So a lot of this was nothing new to me, but I think it was presented in a way that people who perhaps don't know these kind of things are going to understand, and they'll be able to keep up with it. So that, I think, was excellent. But other than that, guys, that's all I have to say for tonight. I'm going to go to bed, and I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys so, so much. Leave what you think down below. Bye.